Welcome back to Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda, giving you all the latest updates on anything and all things Ravens. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the videos. A lot to cover in this video, so let's dive right into it. Okay, so update on Micah Parsons. According to sources from the Cowboys, it will take a, quote, Herculean level offer to get Micah Parsons off the Cowboys, to get, for another team to pick him up. Not surprising here. But there's a but to this. The Ravens are one of the top candidates to get Micah Parsons should a trade be finalized. Heck yeah. If Eric DeCosta can do this, I would love it. I don't know if it's going to happen, but listen, hear me out on this. Eric DeCosta has a way of making the trade look better for him. Look at what he gave up for the Green Bay Packers, Jair Alexander. Look what he, has done in the past with getting top tier talent for dirt cheap. Now, I don't think that he's going to get such a steal with Micah Parsons, trading like a fourth round, fifth round pick. The Cowboys want 2 first rounders and a star. I don't think Eric DeCosta is going to give up something that of that caliber. But things could happen, since the Ravens are in that period of trying to feel it out, trying to figure out what the Cowboys exactly want, or maybe they can sweet talk the Cowboys into giving up Micah Parsons for a I wouldn't say much lower, but a lower price, something that's a little bit more fair. But here's my theory, and this is a total theory on the Cowboys dealing with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons wanted a trade. Jerry Jones said, okay, this is what we want for you. We can get a deal for this, go right ahead. Jerry Jones knows, because he's been around the league for a long, long time, way too long in my opinion, that it's going to be quite a stretch if he's not going to, be open to a little bit lower of an offer for Micah Parsons, that no team is going to give up such that amount. So he's literally twisting Micah Parsons' wrist here, saying, this is what we want. And if you can't do it, and if you sit out, then we're going to fine you, and until you finally go to practice, go to training camp, and playing games. He's literally, this is all theoretical. He's literally got Micah Parsons by the wrist here. There's no way for him to get out unless he plays out his contract and then he's open to free agency. All theoretical, but would not be surprising whatsoever if that's the case. I do believe that Eric DeCosta is a fantastic negotiator. If he can get Micah Parsons for a little bit cheaper than 2 first-round draft picks and a star, I want that. And if the Ravens are in that top candidate category for Micah Parsons, and not to mention the fact that Micah Parsons has vocally said to Marlon Humphrey, I want to be on the Ravens. He said that before. There's video footage of that. Let's make it happen. Micah Parsons is one of the best edge rushers in the league. One of the best. Not the best. One of the best. If we can get him on the Ravens, heck yeah. Okay? Heck yeah. It would shake up our defense, even though it's already looking scary. And we'll get to that in a little bit here. Moving on. So preseason games are over. Ravens destroyed the Commanders 30-3. It was pretty sad, to be honest with you. It was one of those things that was just you could turn off the TV after the second half, or before the second half. That's what I did. Of course, I watched the highlights and stuff like that, but I was like, wow, this looks terrible for the Commanders. kickers. I think the Ravens have this in the bag. I've seen enough. Offensive highlights: Cooper Rush looks a lot more comfortable. Loved that for him. I said that he would, if he looked a lot more comfortable, I'd have a little bit more confidence in him as a second, as the backup to Lamar Jackson. He's definitely earned that second string. Compared to Devin Leary, I think Leary should definitely be cut when they start making the cuts for the roster, or demoted to the practice squad again. I just don't think that should not make the roster. Rasheen Ali has definitely made a case for him to make the roster as well. Uh, I think he does make the roster. LaJohntay Wester had kind of a bounce back game, a little bit, made some nice catches. I don't it's kind of a bounce back game. I still think he gets reps as a wide receiver, but he's definitely our special teams returner. So no surprises here. Offensive line was comprised of the rookies or free agents, so there was no real telling on Daniel Falele's position or anything like that. But it was basically everyone that was not starting, and it looked good. Like on offense, it looked good enough. Like it was a run heavy kind of type of day, and Leary and Rush were both under 100 yards throwing through the air, so run heavy. That's what it was. And no, on the offense, no Raven came out injured or anything like that. So perfect. It was a run heavy scheme. It was like the old days of Greg Roman. I hate saying that name. But so it was good for the offense. It was a good day for the offense per se. But my highlight of the offense is that Tyler Loop hit a 61-yarder as rookie kicker. 61 yards. Mind you, in practice he's hitting 70 and possibly could hit more, given what we've seen from his leg strength. But 61 yards in a game gives me so much joy that we finally have a kicker that's able to do that again. Tucker could do it in his prime, but after last season, I had no confidence in him doing that again. So I think Loop could break Tucker's record if the Ravens wanted him to. If the Ravens were in a position that they needed him to kick a 67, 68, 70-yard field goal to win the game, I would trust in Loop. All right, because, Loop, there it is. We have a great kicker, and to do that as a rookie, it's going to be exciting for us to finally have a kicker that we could turn off the TV when he goes up, and we'll just expect the points to come, or like the field goal points to come in again. So it's just amazing to see. Moving on here. So I mentioned that the defense had a day again today. Defense is scary. Our defense is scary. Mind you, none of the starters were in. We had Mike Green and the guys that we expected, like the rookies at least, to be starting. But the defense, scary. Zach Orr's defense looks like this will put the fear of God in any other team. Like it is, mind you, we were facing off against second string, third string rookies, but for the Ravens defense to do what they did against the Commanders, we're gonna dive into everything. Okay, David Ojabo had a great play on a third and short, blocking the run and tackling the running back behind the line, causing a punt. I loved that. I think David Ojabo has made a case to make the roster. I do believe it. He'll squeak in there. He'll be a backup for sure, but he'll definitely squeak in there. I do want to see more of David Ojabo. I know I was critical of him earlier on in the season, and especially during training camp, but he looks good. Just stay healthy. That's all I want to see. Dude, our corners, our DBs, man, they just picks after picks. A pick six, Keon Martin, pick six late in the game. Then Jalen Arbor Davis had a pick from a Trenton Simpson's deflection. Oh, man. Not to mention TJ Champa also had a deflection. It's just this defense looks scary. It looks like something out of out of Madden, like something that you go up like. We're talking about the defense of Ravens past, like the best defense of all time. And, from the early 2000s, you remember when we had Ed Reed, uh, you know, Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, all those guys. When we like won the Super Bowl because of the defense. Now, I'm not comparing. Obviously, we don't even have like the starters in yet. But look at like we're gonna. It just looks like it. Like how looking at how scary it is. It looks at that like comparing to the, you know, the Ravens of the past. Like that's what we're comparing to. We're not comparing stats or anything like that or talent back from back then. We're comparing like what it looks like. And man, oh man, when the starters come in, when everyone's healthy, good luck opposing teams. Good luck whoever you are. Good luck Bills come week one. It just looks it just looks impenetrable. Zach Orr in his second year. Ooh, look out. Speaking of the week one game, we're in the final stretch now. We get to see who makes the cut, who doesn't make the cut, who gets demoted to the practice squad. I've already mentioned a couple of players that I think should make it and other players who have not. I don't think any of the running backs that we picked up in recent, like, Myles Gaskin, don't make the roster at all. I think we released them. We just use them just because we don't want to overload anyone that could on the that is on the outside looking in for the roster. Hopefully, he gets picked up by another team. Uh, Devin Leary, I'm sorry. I think he gets cut. I don't think he makes the team, or even that gets demoted to the practice squad again. Uh, I've mentioned David Jabo making the roster. There's just so many players here that were on the outside looking in, and it's going to be a tough it's going to be easy on some ends, but definitely tough on other ends, like it usually is for the Ravens to pick who makes the roster and who doesn't, who gets demoted to the practice squad later, or who gets waived and then brought back to the practice squad later. But we'll keep you all updated on that. My name is Connor Gioffreda. Thank you for tuning into Ravens today. Uh, Keep subscribing to the channel, like the video. I will catch you all later.